Okay guys, we are streaming. I'm going to start inviting the new folks, the sign-ups in here in just a couple of minutes. Just sit tight, you guys got plenty of time to grab a drink or whatever. Welcome to this week's Teaching Raid live stream. If you're new to these events, these teaching raids are something we've been doing every week through the winter and spring. This is our 4th year doing them, and they're for newer players, or even people that maybe have played a long time but just never got into raiding for whatever reason. And so we teach these folks how these raids work, and we go over as much as we reasonably can. And we're not trying to make these folks experts at these raids. We're just trying to give them a basic level of competency. Most of these folks are people that shy away from raiding. They're new to raiding. And so, like I remember when I was a noob, raiding was kind of intimidating, and it can be definitely intimidating to newer folks. And so we kind of want to just get them more comfortable with things, and so that they have the confidence to, maybe join a pug and have a reasonable idea of how the raid works. So I'm going to take some time to invite the new folks. So it's probably going to be a good 5 minutes before we actually get started. Hey Spice Locks, welcome.
Thank you. So you get this new tune today.
Hey Thaddeus, welcome.
Two.
Spice Locks, actually this is not a new tune. This is actually my first tune ever. It's just that Voodoo's on timer and Ginger Spice is heroic right now. Hey Angry Tiger, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey Noah, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome Allie.
Thank you.
Are we going to take a poll to see the first to die today?
Hey Ziggs, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome Renar. Okay, we got one more who signed up. I'm going to send them a tell. Okay, I think they may not be on. I don't see them on right now, so yeah, it's like 7 after, so that's plenty of time. I can get probably get another one of my guildies in here to fill the spot. Hey, Midnight, welcome. This is Sarlona. Okay, I got a guildie who's going to switch to join us. And welcome to Teaching Raids. Most of you are returning. But let's see. Actually, all of you are returning. We had one person who, the person that isn't on right now, I think it was going to be their first time in a teaching raid. So, y'all have been here before. I've attended the events at least once before. Oh, Noah, you're new? Oh, excuse me. Okay, cool. Well, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So these events are, for everybody that's signed up is, either new to this raid or still learning it. Some people have run it a couple times, or just new to raiding in general. And, it's a learning environment. I've got a few guildies here to help make things a smooth run and to help answer questions and stuff. So it's actually me and 4 guildies, and then 7 folks that are new to the raid for this event. And we encourage you to ask questions at any point if you're not sure what's going on, if you're lost, if you want more explanation. Just even if I'm talking, you're welcome to interrupt me, as I will be doing a lot of explanation. And, we're not trying to make you experts in the raid. We're just trying to give you sort of a basic level of competency so that you're more comfortable with the raid and you're comfortable joining a pug and have an idea of how the raid works. So before we get started, let's see some supplies that you need. So the abbot is a lich, and that means his DR is bludgeoning and magic. And then he's also immune to 4th level and lower spells, and he's immune to cold and electric. So if you're a caster, you might want to have some spells loaded up other than cold and electric. Flesh to stone is also pretty nice in here. You're going to also want to have removed curse pots. That's something you should have on every tune at all times. But if you don't have removed curse pots, please take a minute to get them right now. Very important in here. I mean, if you had a 10 stack, that should be enough. But, that's the kind of thing that, you ought to buy 100 stack and then, when it gets half down, resupply on every tune. That's my advice. It's one of those essential potions that everybody should have at all times. Also, we are just doing normal. We're just going to be doing epic normal. So if you need to pause your bravery bonuses, please take a minute to do that. You got time.
What is the best thing to use for self-resurrection to raise yourself, other than the Gibber's Blade?
Well, there really aren't a lot of options to raise yourself. Besides the Gibber's Blade, I mean, you can use a Spirit Cake. Those don't work in raids, though. And then there are some, like, enhancements. I'm not even super familiar with them. Like, I think the Monk has something. They can raise themselves, and then divines have something called Death Pact. Hey Wooter, thanks for coming. Divines have something called Death Pact, which will raise them when they die, and then in Exalted Angel they have something called Reborn in Light, which you can also raise yourself.
That's like a level 5.
It's a top tier enhancement, yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got good old resurrection shrines. Those are about your only options.
I got in one of my daily rolls, I rolled 1,000, and I got a scroll of true resurrection, and it did raise myself.
I don't believe you that you rolled 1,000 on your daily roll. Because it only goes to 100.
It must have been my weekly then.
All right.
That goes to 100 too, doesn't it?
I'm just playing. I know he meant
You
100.
would be correct.
Okay, guys, go ahead and step in. Make sure you go into the Mark of Death, not the Heroic Abbot raid. It's the same entrance. So if you are in and you're wondering where is everybody, you probably went into the wrong raid. Also want to make sure everybody knows that we are live streaming this event right now. We just have 11 viewers right now, and we probably won't get more than about 20 or 30. That seems to be the usual. But there are going to be people watching us from other servers that are learning right along with us. And this is the first year that we've been live streaming these events, so it's been really cool. I want to know, some of you I asked when you signed up, but I want to know, like, who here has never done Mark of Death before, or if you've done it, how many times have you done it before? I also want to know.
I've never done it before.
For the live
I have not
streamers,
either.
the folks that are watching,
I haven't either.
who has never done Mark of Death before, or if you've done it a few times and you're still learning. Okay, so most of you never, and maybe a couple of you once. Okay, that's the tall order. This raid can go wrong really fast, but that's why we're just doing normal. So it's gonna be definitely more relaxed. We typically do lower difficulties in these teaching raids because we're really trying to focus on teaching you the raid mechanics, and then as you get more comfortable with things, you can do higher difficulties. This is not really a soloable raid. In fact, can be extremely challenging to do shorthanded. You typically want to do this one in groups. And for those of you who have done Heroic Abbot, this is basically an entirely different raid. There are just a few basic things that are similar, like it looks similar. And we're going to be fighting the Abbot, who's still a Lich. Other than that, the few things that are similar are that the water around the main platform is like the death water that ticks for damage, and you want to get out of there as soon as possible. And when you're moving through this water, just like lava, you want to swim through it and then just jump when you either have to heal yourself or jump when you're jumping out. You don't want to jump through the water. It's just like when you jump through water, it actually takes damage every time you hit the surface. So you're better off just swimming through it. No, like I said, only jumping if you need to heal yourself or when you're getting out. But in case you have done Heroic Abbot, here, if you die in the water, your soulstone gets teleported to the center of the platform. As opposed to Heroic Abbot, your soulstone sinks to the bottom of the water, and the water is really deep there, and it becomes an issue trying to raise you. But we won't have that issue here. The Abbot also does the Inferno and Encasement, which I'm going to explain how those work. But that's really where the similarities end. There aren't any puzzles in this raid. So the people that hated the Abbot puzzles, don't struggle with this one as much. But, like I said, this raid can turn into a giant mess really fast. It's the kind of a raid that if it's organized and people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, it can be over in literally 5 minutes. And it can seem like the easiest raid ever. But if people, aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or you're shorthanded, or you're light DPS, it could just be a giant mess. And this is a quest, by the way, that I want to make sure everybody knows that we actually run this as a public event every Friday night. So after tonight, if you want to do it again, every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, call it Friday Night Market Death Fest. Just hit the LFM and you can join. And last week, a week ago from yesterday, we usually do 2 runs every Friday, and we did the first run on hard, no problem. And we did the second run, and it was some of the same people. We only had 9. We did it on hard, and we failed. And it just was a good reminder that this raid isn't a gimme. Going a little short-handed. We had light DPS. A lot of people were new to it, and we failed on hard. So this, like I said, this important thing is that this raid can go bad really, really quick. There are endless spawns. Lots of mobs that inhibit spell casting. Nasty beholders, for example. And so it's easy to become, overwhelmed. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen here is once we step forward towards the center of the platform, the abbot will appear, and this blue bridge behind us will disappear, and the raid will be locked. People could actually enter the raid, but there would be a barrier at the entrance, at the door behind us, and they wouldn't be able to get past that. And then, the abbot will come down, and like I said, he is a lich, so his DR is bludgeoning and magic. He has a mantle of invulnerability, so he's immune to 4th level and lower spells, and he's immune to electric and cold. We're going to beat him down to 70% health, and then he's going to take a break. And 1 D door will appear across the platform from us. Not 3 of them like Heroic Abbot, just 1. And everybody will go into that first D door, except we'll have maybe a couple people stay out. Actually, Jintis, could you stay out?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go for... I don't normally go into that first D door, but I will for purposes of the live stream. And inside that first D door is going to be... Well... maybe I'll just explain it like when we get in there, as opposed to trying to explain the whole raid to you right now. Because this raid won't advance until certain things are done, and so we can throttle the raid and just not advance things, until we've explained it. And just being on normal, it won't be a drain on our resources. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to beat down the abbot to 70, and we're going to go into that D door. When you go in the D door, though, I don't want you to run ahead. I just want you to step into the D door and wait right there. Let's go ahead and get some buffs. Also want to show you that there are some safe spots on the platform from the Inferno. The Inferno is a move that the abbot does, not during the first beatdown, but when he reappears later in the raid. And those safe spots are the corners of the platform. If you look, the platforms is not a perfect circle. There are these little corners. And you want to hang like right at the very edge, the tiptoes hanging off, and you should be okay. If you get hit by the Inferno, and this is really, really important, even a lot of veteran players don't know that the Inferno acts just like Heroic Abbot, and it acts as a curse, just like Heroic Abbot. If you get hit by the Inferno, you need to drink a curse pot, same as Heroic Abbot. Otherwise, you will take spell point and hit point damage indefinitely, until you're dead or you recall out. So it's really, really important that you watch for that. And the thing is, this curse doesn't show up on your buff bar like normal curses do. So you just have to know, like, if you get hit by the Inferno, drink a curse pot. If you see yourself losing all your spell points and losing all your hit points, you're taking damage, that's because you have the Inferno curse. So it's really, really important. I mean, that's where, like, if you have a raid that has a bunch of disorganized people in it or new folks, like, that Inferno can cause a lot of attrition that can be really, really difficult to recover from. Because like I said, you got mobs that are inhibiting spell casting, making it difficult to raise, etc. Also, the abbot can do the encasement, which like he puts you like in a big boulder, and we're going to use these rocks that we're going to get from there's a side room to break you out, but we won't have those at first. So if you get encased early on, there'll be no way to get you out. You just have to let it time out, which takes about a minute, and you take damage during that time. So you either have to let it time out or you die. And those are the only ways to get it out of the encasement until we get these rocks. And then once we get the rocks, whoever has them can just like throw them at the boulder 3 times, hit it, and they'll break him out. That's the same mechanic as Heroic Abbot. I think that's all I'm going to explain up to this point. Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
Is there a way to avoid the encasement?
Yeah, if you have, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. If you have spell absorption, you won't get hit by it. But if you keep spell absorption on, then it's going to get drained down really quick in this raid. But for example, if you were going to one of the outer D doors and it was really important that you didn't get hit by it, you could slide that on while you're making your way out there, for example, and I'll show you what that means in a bit. Also, if you're immune to petrification, like for example, if you have, I believe it's the ultimatum shield, or if you have the enhancement from Divine Crusader, Heavenly Presence makes you immune to petrification, then you shouldn't be able to be encased. I don't know that. I don't think so, because you can't use like the Harper pin, but I don't know specifically about Unstoppable. I don't think it will work though. Also, you can use what I like to call the jump around like a jackass method. If you're jumping around and moving around, then you probably won't get hit by an encasement, because you like sort of jump out of it immediately. Hey Costas, welcome. Doing well, how are you? Okay. Let's get started. You might want to turn on your DM volume, by the way, if you don't have it up. You can hear his little monologue. There he is. He's going to bounce around. He's in the north right now. Now he's in the center. He doesn't run around. He just teleports between like 4 or 5 different spots. So he'll be in the north, the south, the center, and the east. So that's it. Just actually, so those 4 different spots.
The Black Abbot cackles and withdraws to his
don't
statue.
go in the D door yet, guys.
A glowing portal opens at one end.
I just want to
of the
show you
platform.
that, at this point in the raid, there's just going to be some simple trash mobs. There's going to be these vampire knights to deal with, and then the archers. And so the safe spots from the Inferno, like if you just hang out where the archers are, those can be like your targets, like right at those corners. It might be any corner that works, but definitely the archer corners. Because there's just, like right now in the raid, there's like we could just sit here and kill vampire knights and archers forever. Nothing's going to happen. There's no sense of urgency. And but it's important that there's at least one person alive out here. If we were all to go into the D door, the abbot would call us all back out. Or if most of us went in there and the people that were still on the platform died, we would get pulled back in here. So you want to make sure that people stay out here and that it's people who are, self-sufficient. Now, Jintis, go ahead and stone these mobs. Don't attack the mobs right now, guys. You can see Jintis is charming them and stoning them. So if you see charmed and stoned mobs, leave them alone. That's this raid is in large part about mitigating trash, about dealing with the trash. The trash is the big problem in this raid, and so there are different strategies for dealing with it. Some people will stone it, some people will charm it, and then if you don't have stoners, and the abbot came back. I didn't even realize he would come back at this point. So, oh, and then sometimes, like, if we don't have stoners and charmers, we will use kill squads. When we might assign up to 4 people dedicated to killing trash. And I like to assign ranged people to that, but you know, if you have, oh, like, was it adrenaline? No, I can't even remember now. What's the, what's the thing in Dreadnought? Master's Blitz. If you have, if you have a blitzer, you know, that can be good to put on trash too. But like, range tunes are great because they can just hit stuff from, you know, wherever they are on the platform, and you really want to have like melee tunes on the abbot when he's down. Otherwise, the abbot gets bored and he starts, you know, encasing and doing infernos and stuff. Okay, we're gonna leave Gentis on the main platform, and everybody else can go into the D door. Make sure you click on the D door and don't just run through it and fall in the water and die like I did my first time doing Heroic Abbot. Remember, don't run ahead, because that's really embarrassing. And you can see we're just sort of in a medium-sized room. There's 2 beholders, there's a Death Knight, there's a sarcophagus that we need to break. And there's an altar behind the Death Knight that once we clear all this out and we break the sarcophagus, there'll be a quest item there. And there are 2 more D doors that are like way out in the water that aren't even accessible yet at this point in the raid. But those outer D doors look just like this one. There's a Death Knight, a sarcophagus, there's an altar, same room. The trash mobs are different though. Like in one D door there's, I think, Vampire Knights, and in the other one there's Quells. Okay, let's go ahead and kill the beholders first, and then we'll focus on the Death Knight.
One of the abbot's sarcophagi stands at the end of this long chamber. Before it, the cold stare of a Death Knight meets your gaze. Approaching the Death Knight, you feel a shift, a sudden weakness. The Death Knight is cutting you off from your deity.
There are 3 different Death Knights that have different abilities. This one has like a quelling aura that can inhibit spellcasting for divines, and so if you have intercession ward that comes on, like
with the Death Knight's demise, the sarcophagus is no longer protected.
Epic Glimpse of the Soul, or the 2-handed sword, or the great sword called Atonement, that can be nice for a divine to have in here, so they don't get quelled, or they don't suffer from intercession. So this room will be considered complete once we grab the item off the altar. It's not actually breaking the sarcophagus, it's grabbing the item off the altar. In this case, it's the Delta Phase goggles, which you do not want to grab unless you are assigned to. Yeah. Gotta put a bag of sand on the altar and grab the item really quick.
Okay.
So here, my mistake is, you know, I don't have the goggle. I didn't have my inventory clear, so I can't tell where the goggles are. That's definitely want to have some free inventory.
Repeat, down again.
What did you say?
Repeat down the abbot again.
Yep. So, actually what I want to happen right now is I want all the High Lords to focus on the abbot, and then Gentis take care of trash. Notice that people are getting
probably
encased.
better off let me die. Let me die, and then I'll.
It'll time out.
I'm right.
Inferno. Go to the corners. Go to the corners. Those are your safe spots. People that are stuck in encasements are screwed. There's nothing they can do. If you get hit by the Inferno, remember to drink a curse pot. Okay, Ziggs and Renarin.
I got entrapped.
Thank you.
What I want to show you guys now, the folks that are new, I want to show you that there are actually invisible tiles out in the water. I'm going to turn on my aura, and I want you to come over to where I am. You can see my big glowing orange aura, which, oops, which I didn't have loaded up. There we go.
I'm encased.
Oop, okay, you're just gonna have to. You're gonna have to let it time out. There's nothing we can do to get you out.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a set of goggles that's going to let you see the invisible tiles that are around in the water, and those make
Burning with divine
safe,
magic, your
path
eyes now
out to
make
the
out
outer
things
D-doors.
left unseen.
And you're going to see that some of the tiles are like green or white, and those phase in and out, and they turn red when they're phasing out, and then some of the tiles are blue. And those do not phase in and out, and you basically just, you know, run a pattern to the outer D-door.
I call upon the Inferno.
Oh,
Secret shall burn.
go to the corners.
Flames engulf the Lich's body and ignite the platform.
Remember to drink a curse pot if you get by the Inferno. So if you're new to the raid, I want you to try to jump to where I am. Make sure you jump past me if you can. Just past me. I'm on a safe spot out here. I'm on like a tile, so if you get stuck under me, it's going to be challenging.
Coming to him.
It's going to be challenging to like
Is
swim
this
out from
like-
under it.
Just like the heroic one with the little phase room.
Kinda, yeah.
Secret shall burn.
So we'll be safe from the Inferno here. Spice Locks, can you jump out here to us?
Flames engulf the Lich's body and ignite the platform.
I'll
Oh,
come
he
back.
encased us. Okay,
Got
so
rid of it.
what I want to do now is I want to pass you guys the goggles so that you can see. And go ahead and stand where I am. We're at the edge of the tile. Spice Lux, I'm going to give you the goggles first. I want you to pop them on, take a quick look.
Where did you get the goggles? That was in the bag on the altar?
Yep. Hit accept, Spice. Equip those goggles. Just take a quick look
Secret shall
and then pass them to Thaddeus.
To Thaddeus.
Yep. Thaddeus, put those goggles on, have a quick look, and then pass them to Angry Tiger.
Can do.
How do I get to Thaddeus?
Just click on them,
Click my name up on the left.
and in the gears in your little picture circle, just click
No,
trade.
okay.
I'm encased. I don't know if I can.
We'll have to let it time out. Once the encasement goes away, let's sort of split up a little bit here. We'll just not be all on top of each other, because that way we won't all get encased like this. I should have told you to do that before. There we go. And Angry, once you've had a quick look, pass them to Noah.
Who has the goggles right? Oh, there we go.
Um,
I call upon the Inferno. Secret shall burn.
I don't have them
You
yet.
gotta drag him into your side first.
I dragged him into my side.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thaddeus.
Have a quick look, and
So,
then pass them to Angry Tiger. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so the blue ones are the stationary ones again?
Yep, blues do not phase in and out, and then the other ones do, and then they turn red as they're about to as they're about to disappear. And so they stay in for like 8 or 10 seconds, and they're disappeared for 3 seconds, and it's a regular interval that they phase in and out at.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
And there's a pattern, like in the heroic side?
you don't want to spend a lot of time trying to like figure out a pattern. You just basically want to like only one person's going to have the goggles, so you're just going to like jump along safely as you see them. So you're not leading anybody else across like heroic abbot. You can see them and you're jumping across as they're phasing in and out. Let's see, who's got the goggles now? Okay, Noah, once you've had a look, give them to Allie. Allie, once you've had a look, give them to Ziggs. And here's what we're going to do, guys. I don't want Gentis to have to drink pots. So once we have had everybody look through the goggles, we're going to recall and just redo it. That way we can get our mana back and stuff. And because we haven't progressed very far into the raid. Ziggs, once you've had a look, give him to Renar.
Is there a shrine in here anywhere?
No. And Renar, once you've had a look, let me know.
Are these tiles here from the start of the quest, or do they come in once we go through the first detour?
Yeah, they're up right away. They will disappear after we're done with all the detours, though. But they are here right away. So some people, the tile that we're on right now, this one is always stationary. So some people actually jump out here because they know where it is and just range stuff from here. But there's not really a whole lot of value doing that. But some people like to. Renar, have you had a look? You're done. Okay. Let's detour out, folks. Go ahead and detour out or recall out or whatever. Everybody take the detour. And we're just doing this so that we can reset our mana so people don't have to drink pots. We have not even progressed the raid really at all. And now that everybody's had a chance to look at the goggles, we'll just get reset, get your mana back, and we'll just redo that same part.
I can stay in. I don't really have any mana to gather back.
No, we need to reset the raid. Because once we're out, we're locked out.
Oh, you almost made that, Looter.
Take a minute to go ahead and get your mana back. Gentis, did you have to drink pots?
No,
Okay, cool.
that's right. I just used my Fire Blast Me and Bubble.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go get your mana back and then we'll step right back in.
You can
Looter and I
engage in
did
the
that
little
in cave.
sealed room.
In the cubby.
Oh, that's awesome.
How rude.
I know, right?
Oh, did I get wrecked? Good thing I got Death Pact on. I can get you, Looter, if you don't want to release.
That's alright, I need my mana back anyway. I'll be fast.
Oh. I
I don't think
survived
you
and
can dodge
did
it,
it again.
Mickey.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, it is reset. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and step back in. But don't forget to get your mana back and stuff. So any questions up to this point, because it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to get back in. If you have any questions. And with the goggles, only one person can have them. But here's the thing. Once you're experienced doing that job, once you've done goggles, so 6, 8, 10 times, so you sort of know where the tiles are. And the tiles, they're not always phasing in and out. Or it's the blues aren't always in the same location and stuff, and I think it's a different pattern every time. So it's not like you can memorize a pattern and it's going to be the same next time. But they're always in the sort of same locations. So there's, for example, there's like a safe like swimming lane that's like a half a body length wide to the one side of the tiles, not on the wall side, but the other side where there's like a blue barrier. And so some people, you can just sort of swim out there, or will actually jump onto the tiles as though they were there, and if they happen to fall, they just jump back up. And so I'm going to be demonstrating that for the live stream. But the point is that you need to, whether you use the goggles or whether you know where the tiles are, the point is you need to get to the outer D doors. So after we finish that first D door, there are two outer D doors that appear. One's way out in the northwest of the zone, and one's in the northeast of the zone, and one's in the southwest of the zone. So for those of you watching the live stream, one's way out there, and one's way out there, way in the corner. And what I want to do is well, like I said before, the outer D doors are the same as the first D door. There's a Death Knight, trash mobs. The trash mobs are different. Sarcophagus, an altar with a quest item. And what we typically do is we send teams to do the outer D doors simultaneously. So after we get out of the first D door, then the teams, usually like a couple people, will go out and do the outer D doors while everybody else stays on the main platform. And like I said earlier, those D doors are not considered complete until you pull a quest item off of the altar. So you can kill everything in there, you can break the sarcophagus, but the room isn't considered complete until you grab the item off the altar. And the items on the altars in the outer D doors are the rocks, which we'll use to break people out of encasement, and the wands, which traditionally are used to make safe spots from the Inferno, but because there are safe spots in the platform, that's what everybody does. Pugs aren't going to use the ice ball wands to throw safe spots into the water like you do in Abbot, like you do in Heroic Abbot. Everybody just uses the safe spots on the platform, so that's why we're teaching that way. But the point is here that when the outer D doors are completed, when one of the outer D doors are completed, additional trash mobs spawn. In addition to the Vampire Knights and the Archers, we're also going to get Quells and Beholders. And so what we want to do is complete the outer D doors at the same time so that the platform group is dealing with that added trash for less time. And so the outer D door groups can coordinate with each other and let each other know when they're done and then complete the room together. Not all groups are going to do that, but that's just sort of a nice, courteous, coordinated way to do things. Noah, let's see. So you asked, when you fall in the water. Well, it depends. Like if you fall in the water and you were trying to get to the outer D door, then you want to try to basically jump onto the tiles. But if you're close to the main platform, if you just get telekinesis off or something, if you fall in the water, you should just jump back on the main platform. I hope that answers your question. I think what we'll do is, for what I'm going to do is I'll grab the goggles and then I'm going to try to lead all the new folks across to one of the outer D doors. And then I think I'm going to do the other D door myself. Just to show on the live stream and stuff, to show like how to get there without the goggles and that, that it's soloable and stuff. So any questions before we get started?
So we could do one D door. Can we come back out, or can you not come back out until you pick up the bag?
Yeah, you can't come back out until the D door is considered complete, and it's not complete until you pick up the quest item off the altar. So in the case of the first D door, it's that bag. Okay, we're all here. Let's step forward.
You, the so-called adventurers who infest Stormreach. Your kind ruined my ascension to godhood. I allowed the world to believe my phylactery was destroyed so I could plan my next attempt in peace. Then Arandis Vole appeared and promised to help. I should never have trusted her. That half-breed she-lich betrayed me. She's bound my soul to obey her will. And now she wants you dead. At least that part I'll enjoy.
Okay, abbots in the east. If you're on a druid, you can use fire spells, you can use word of balance, you can use light spells.
The black abbot
Okay,
cackles
he's
and
taking a
withdraws
smoke
to his
break.
statue.
We're all going to go into the
A
first
glowing
D-door.
portal opens at one end of the platform.
Actually, yeah, everybody go into the first D-door. Gentis, you can stay out. I'm going to take out a group of vampire knights. Or at least one of them. Sunburst is great for taking out if you're, if you're on a cleric that has it, or a druid. You can one-shot the vampire knights with a good sunburst. They just die instantly from it if they fail their save. The vampire knights are like the sort of the weakest trash mob, and then followed by the archers. And the archers actually have a stacking buff that the longer they're alive, the more damage that they do. So you don't want to just ignore the archers. And then the quells, they can do the intercession, which inhibits divine spell casting, even prevents warlocks from casting their regular spells, although it doesn't to prevent them from doing their eldritch burst. Oops, I gotta go in there and grab the goggles. Oh, guys, you didn't have to wait for me. Go ahead and kill the boulders.
One of the abbot's sarcophagi stands at the end of this long chamber. Before it, the cold approaching the Death Knight, you feel a shift, a sudden weakness. The Death Knight is cutting you off from your deity. The sarcophagus breaks. A small bag appears on the room's altar.
Okay, what I'm going to try to do now is actually lead all the sign-ups across to one of the outer D-doors. So go ahead and follow me. All the High Lords stay on the platform, and just help out with trash or whatever.
Burning with divine magic, your eyes now
Are the
look
D
out
doors the
things left
same each time, or
unseen.
do they change up?
They're the same each time. I want you to be very, very carefully just follow me. When I jump, you jump, and jump to where I jump to. We're not going to have a whole lot of time here. So get ready. And jump to me. And jump again. I'm going to keep my aura on. We're on a safe tile right now. This one's not phasing in and out. And jump to me. And jump again.
I call upon the Inferno! Cedric shall burn!
What this is going to do is get, you're going to experience falling into the water and dying like Spice Locks did.
I'm
You're going to
dead.
experience getting caught under a tile. These are the kinds of things that are going to happen when you're in a raid. And so right now, it's low stress environment, no big deal. Now, in an actual raid, you'd probably never have anybody actually lead you across like this. We used to do it back in the early days, but not anymore. You know, people can get there on their own. But just, I want you to experience the water a little bit. Oh, we got encased.
That's me.
We'll let it time out. No big deal.
Where's the door at?
The D door is here.
around
It's
the
in the
corner.
southwest of the zone. It's going to take a minute for this to time out.
Unstoppable doesn't get you, just FYI.
Okay, that's good to know. So I'm just going to lead them across, like, to here. Okay, I'm going to put my aura back on. We're going to move pretty quick here, guys, so stay with me.
Thylox, you want to be beaten on the abbot.
Okay, get ready. Jump to me. Okay, get ready. And jump to me. And jump again. We're on a safe tile here. If you died and you go back to the main platform, that's okay. Just stay there. Okay, we're gonna make four quick jumps here. Let me just watch the pattern for a minute. I guess there'll be a little bit of a pause here. We're on a safe tile, so no worries. We're on a blue non-phasing tile. Okay, get ready. We're going to make 2 jumps and pause. Get ready and another jump. And then another jump. And we're on a blue tile, safe spot. Now we're going to do 2 more jumps. Jump to me. And then jump to me again. Now this next part's going to be tricky because we have no more blue tiles between here and that D door. But that D door that you see in the corner is the goal. So if you fall in or something, just try to swim over to it. Let me see here. Okay, we're going to do a diagonal jump, followed by a bunch of jumps. We're going to go diagonally over here in front of me. And then we're just gonna, it's gonna be 2 jumps and then a quick series of jumps after a short pause. Okay, jump to me. And then jump again. I think we can just like run, we can just run across to the next tile. And go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then jump into the D door. There's actually a space between the tiles, but I guess you can run between them. So you can see there's another Death Knight. This one has, like, you can see has like Tensor's transformation. We're gonna meet all the Death Knights again. And this one has, his special ability is to slow down. He puts a buff on you that slows down, that dramatically slows down ranged attack speed, and also makes your spells a lot higher casting cost. Not your SLAs, but your regular spells. So spellcasters and range tunes should generally not be sent over to this D door. Okay, let's go ahead and kill this guy. There's going to be, I believe, a couple
Another
quells.
Death Knight protects another sarcophagus in your spell and missile attacks on the Death Knight seem to be weakening you.
Kill the quells first. And that debuff will go away. So if you are ranged, you can attack him. If you're a spellcaster, don't use your regular spells. And normally what we do is we'd coordinate with the other people in the other D door, and we would let them know, when our guy's dead, and then we wouldn't take the items off of the altar until we were ready. We would do it at the same time, completing both rooms at the same time. But we're going to complete this one first. Go right back out. You're going right back onto the main platform. You're not going out into the water. What I want you to do, we walked into an inferno, so drink a curse pot if you need to. I just want you to help with trash right now. So if beholders spawn or quells spawn, actually just quells, Gentis can take care of everything else. Just stay on the main platform. And I'm going to use Merfolk's Blessing and throw a Mass Regenerate. And then I'm just going to swim along here. You can just swim along this side here. The tiles are right there, which I'd be able to see if I equip the goggles. But I want to show you that you can do it without it, unless you you jump lag and don't heal yourself.
Rip.
I'm gonna need a raise here in a minute.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, when I'm jump lagging and describing things on the live stream, doesn't really work. This time instead of doing the swim, see, I got pulled back there. I'm just gonna run across where I believe the tiles are, and if they're not phased in, if I happen to fall, then I'll just sort of swim out to the side and then jump back on them. So I'm just showing you like you can do this without the goggles. Whether you want to swim down that channel where I died, or you just want to sort of jump where the tiles would be. Just keep jumping, and like I said, if you fall in, then just sort of jump back up. Make sure you move out to the side though before you try to jump back up, otherwise you might just be jumping into the bottom of the platform.
In this hall stands another sarcophagus, and pain courses through you as you near this death
So
knight.
my sunburst should take out all these vampire knights in one shot. No sweat. So I find, even on this tune that doesn't have a lot of path lives, soloing on normal or hard, one of these side rooms is pretty easy. I personally wouldn't solo them on Elite unless I had to, but can be done. And some people they'll like to, perch up here or something. A lot of times the Death Knight can't get to you if you want to do that. I'm about to finish up this other outer D-door. Gentis, if you drink pots, I'll just give you some after this, okay? We're going to have a little break in the action when Lady Vol appears. At no point in the raid do we ever need to DPS Lady Vol. She just exists to make our lives miserable. Just ignore her. But she will do like a Dragon Breath effect, which can be pretty painful on higher difficulties. And this is clutch right here. This is one of the most important mechanics in the raid. She does the Marks of Death, which are like, they look like blue cloud kills, like low-lying blue fog. You need to stay out of those, because you will take damage really fast. You can run through them quickly, but you don't want to linger in them.
The sarcophagus breaks, and stone.
So the room is
Black
considered
Abbot's
complete as
third
soon as I pull
sarcophagus
the
breaks, and
items
he is
off the
once
altar
again
there.
vulnerable.
So now at this point in the raid, all of the D doors are done,
But a
and we're
voice
all on the main
intones through the
platform.
chamber.
Leave the
This
stone
is how
mobs
the
alone,
mortals defeated you the last time. Isn't that right, Abbot? It doesn't suit
and
me
then
for you to die
let's
yet.
say
Withdraw! And you mortals.
Treadway, you can
I
be
know your type.
responsible for helping out with the
quick to
quells,
judge, so quick to condemn everything that's
All
different.
right.
and then
As the
everybody else
elves
will be
and
on the
dragons
Abbot and Death
condemned
Knight.
my house for the affront of allowing me to be born, a half-elf, half-dragon babe. They hunted down and killed every member of my house. I escaped their scrying spells only because my
Quells
mother
are red
used the
names, so
dragon
they
mark
can't
of
be
death
crowd
to make
controlled.
me a lich.
Okay, Abbot's down.
And
Everybody
so,
on the
I'm
Abbot in the
last
south.
of the once great house Vol, the last to
And he's
bear
gonna
our
bounce
mark.
around. Stay out of the blue
What a
clouds.
cruel jest! The dragon mark of death cannot be used by an undead lich. But after centuries, I finally found a source of necromantic energy that could reactivate it.
She
In an
puts
upstart
down a little
lich
blue
who
circle
sought
before
to
the
make
mark of
himself
death comes
into a
in.
god.
So that's the tell that it's
How
coming.
cute.
Make
I
sure
need to
if you see
finish
the blue
consuming
circle,
the abbot's soul to
you
make
move
it
out of the
permanent.
way.
But I've already
But I
drained
do want you to
enough
run through the
reawaken
mark
my
of death. I want you to see what that
I'm eager to
that
see it in
feels
action.
like. You can run through it
Let's try
safely.
it out together, shall we?
You won't take much
The abbot
damage.
staggers under
You
the weight
also
of his
can't
injuries.
cast spells while
An
you're in the mark of
exasperated
death.
Lady Vole chides.
Fine. I'll
Okay,
just have
the
to
abbot
finish his
has
soul
been beat
now,
down to
and the Death
50%,
Knights can
and he
have you.
disappears and 3 Death Knights appear. It's the same 3 Death Knights from the outer D doors. We have to beat him down again. And if we like to beat him down in a certain order, let's take him to the outside of the platform. We're going to beat down the one with Tensor's transformation first, which he's in the south right now. Remember to continually move out of the blue stuff, and that's one of the things that people that are newer to this raid struggle with, is struggling to stay out of the marks of death. Okay, the Death Knight with Tensor's transformation is in the west right now. It's in like the northwest. So work on the one with Tensor's transformation. We're going to do the red one last. The Tensor's one first and the red one last. If you're a caster, again, you generally want to not attack, or a range 2, and you generally don't want to attack the one with Tensor Transformation because of his debuffs. We're going to do the one with no aura next. This is the one with like the little wispy thing. He is the one that does the intercession ward, or the intercession effect, intercession aura. And then we're going to kill the red one. And then as soon as we kill the last Death Knight, the abbot will reappear and we need to do the final beatdown. But then Lady Vole is going to do this massive AoE death effect that there is no save for. You got to have Death block. Death ward's not good enough.
And the floor
Everybody
of
on
the
the abbot in
chamber
the center,
begins to shake.
except the people on trash. Death ward's not good enough because it will be dispelled by the beholders. So, like I said, it's very important to have Death block in here. I should have told you that ahead of time. Apologize.
The abbot
And you beat down the
collapses,
abbot,
then
and then it's
dissolves
over.
to dust.
Now,
Vole
that
grows
took us a
sullen
while.
and relinquishes
Normally,
her
like,
assault.
that whole experience
What
can
have
all
you
happen in
done?
5 minutes.
I would have used the mark of death to give the world immortality.
There
No
are
child would have needed to live without their family.
shrines now,
But without the abbot,
so you can
the
go ahead
mark of death
and
is
raise yourself.
truly gone. You've chosen the world as the dragons
Granting
and
your
elves would
first
have
mark of
it,
death, guys.
where the shadow of death is always on
So
us.
what I was trying to do there is get you
I'll
to
never stop
experience,
fighting
more
against
of
their
the raid than
tyranny.
you might see
But you,
otherwise
mortals,
by taking you to the outer
don't
D door. But
bother
like I
coming
said
to me the
earlier,
next
you
time
wouldn't
Arganesson
do that as a
threatens to
group
destroy
like that
Stormreach when
in a
something
normal
doesn't
raid.
go their way.
The ascension chamber grows still as Lady Vole leaves.
So, the two D doors, to do them together, one person has to go without goggles to the D door, right?
At least one, yeah. But like I said, after you've done goggles, 6, 8, 10 times and you're comfortable with it and you understand where the tiles are, you can just sort of swim off to the side of them and then jump heal yourself, or you can just run along where the tiles are. So if you want to see an example of that, watch the live stream, because I did that on the other side. One of the first
How
timers...
much damage do you take when you're in the water?
Oh, that's a good question. Check it out. Go in the water right now. Jump in the water. I believe it's 20% of your maximum health per tick, but I may be wrong. And if you're getting jump lag, it makes it really difficult to heal through it.
Well, it does take quite a bit.
Yeah, you definitely,
Ow.
if you've never experienced this water, jump in.
Yeah, it was hitting me for 300 a tick.
And those outer tiles, like I said, after the outer D doors are done, those tiles disappear. They're not there anymore. This raid is historically extremely stingy on loot, but lately has been dropping stuff a lot more often. But you should just plan on getting whatever you want in the 20th list. Everything is guaranteed to be on the 20th list. If you get what you want before that, consider yourself lucky. Okay, the tapestries are going to be D50. I'm going to do high and low is going to win, because I got 2 sets of taps here. I'm also going to be rolling off this epic quiver of alacrity. So D50 on the taps, high and low wins. these tapestries are used to unlock one of the slots on your Necro 4 gear. So not only the raid loot, but also the quest loot in Epic Necro 4. There are 2 slots that you can open up on them.
What are you rolling off the quiver alacrity on?
I haven't rolled it off yet. I'm just going to resolve these tapestries first. So high and low, let's see. It looks like high is Thaddeus and low is Renar.
One thing I noticed in this raid too, if you're healing and you're running around, is this ledge can really mess you up if you climb it. If you're like trying to cast a heal and you happen to run into this ledge, it'll interrupt it.
Is that around the entire platform? Oh, you're talking about that ledge, yeah.
Except for the steps right here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to point that out here once we resolve this.
I'm doing that a couple times. Just
Note
you're
that
running around trying to avoid everything. And
the Epic Quiver of Alacrity doesn't have a striding boost effect like the regular one does. So I want to make sure that, basically, this is like a ranged kind of an item. Not a TR item like the regular quiver.
Movement speed. Okay, then ignore me from it. It's part of the range speed, Ginger.
Oh, is it? Right, but it's not. You can't make it a level 1 item like the regular quiver, is what I was saying.
But it's not level 1, yeah.
Right.
You'd be correct there.
So it's not a TR item like the regular. Okay, so looks like Elenia wins the roll. Oh no, wait a minute, we had a tie. Oh no, we didn't. 83. Elenia, did you say to ignore the roll?
Yeah, if it's better for ranged people, I'll pass it to someone that's going to use it.
Yeah, I just was trying to make sure that people that knew what the regular quiver didn't think that this was had the same effect. So if you don't know the regular quiver, it's a minimum level 1 item, and when it's upgraded it has striding 30, so you can use it to have striding 30 right at level 1, so it's sought after by everybody. But the Epic Quiver, isn't like that. It's not a minimum level 1 item. So it looks like then Thaddeus is the next highest. Here you go, Thaddeus. Congrats.
Thank you.
No, what Mickey was talking about, come over here where I am. I'll put my aura on. And you can see there's a ledge here. And you can get interrupted if you're casting spells or something, because it's a little bit taller of a ledge and you actually climb up it. Or if you're using a clicky or something, that can interrupt it. So that's a really good point, little nuance to be aware of. Yeah, minus 50 concentration on the Quiver of Alacrity, so generally not good for caster or monk or something. Alright, any questions before we recall out a Mark of Death?
How much jump should I have to jump around the tiles?
I'm sorry, what?
How much points in jump should I have to be able to jump around the tiles?
You're gonna have to type it in, buddy. I'm having a hard time understanding you.
He wants to know how much jump.
For tiles.
How much jump?
For jumping across tiles.
That's a good question. Yeah, so basically, I'm glad you asked that. So if you have a low jump, trying to get out of the water can be extremely tough. If you have a jump spell cast on you and that's plus 30, I've never had a problem with that. You can also get up to a plus 15 augment if you have it like a clicky, like a Mora's Belt or something like that. That's really helpful. On my favorite soul, she has low jump, so I need to do a jump spell. Yeah, somebody's saying in the chat in the live stream that 40 is the maximum for anybody. But how much do you need to get out of the water? I'm not exactly sure what that number would be, but you do need a little bit of jump. If you have no jump whatsoever, it's going to be impossible for you to get out of this water without dying.
Needs to be at least more than 15 because I have a 16 and I can't get out.
Okay, so 16 can't get out. You need more than that.
I can get out barely with 26.
That's a good question that I would not have thought to cover. Okay, guys, like I said, we do a Friday night Mark of Death Fest. Oh, what'd you say, Mickey?
I was saying even 26 is difficult to get out of the water if you're like up too close. You have to really get like back and.
Okay. So more than 26 preferably. And 16 is definitely not enough. Go ahead and recall out, guys. Turn it in. We're going to be doing Legendary Tempest Spine next for those that are staying for that. That's in House J. But you got plenty of time if you want to go, grab a drink or something like that. We'll get started in 5 minutes.
Where do you want to meet up in House J?
In the back at the entrance. It's the same. It's where the entrance to the Heroic Tempest Spine is. Back by Dreams of Insanity and sort of over by Zorian Cypher. Okay, live streamers, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then we're going to get to Legendary Tempest Spine. We'll probably just do that on hard. Because Elite, on Legendary Elite, these mobs hit really, really hard. And I don't like to make these, I like to keep these teaching raid events to be, low stress environments. I'm at the entrance.
Do you have to reflag for this one?
For Mark of Death?
Yeah.
No. You can do it again in 3 days, or you can use a regular timer. Do it again. I'm going to step away for 1 minute, guys. Be right back. I'm at the entrance in the back of House J.
Have you already gotten the quest? And I'm back. Okay, live streamers, any questions about Mark of Death? And by the way, guys, I do have videos of us doing Mark of Death on my YouTube channel if you want to see like sort of how the raid is normally run. And I have a video up of us doing normal in like 5 minutes. That raid, like I said, is in large part about mitigating trash, dealing with trash, whether you're charming it, whether you're stoning it, whether you have kill crews. You know, and like I said, if we don't have stoners and charmers, we're going to typically assign 4 people to just deal with trash the entire time. And the trash just endlessly respawns. If you can keep the trash controlled, then it lets, you know, the Abbot and Death Knight DPS group do their job uninhibited, and then it goes a lot smoother.
I have one question about that last raid. Was there a reason we killed the Death Knights in the order we did?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you asked that, because so basically we killed them. You know, like after we did the outer D doors, and we all were back in the center, and then we beat down the Abbot to 50, and then those 3 Death Knights had appeared. We killed them in the order of basically who's the biggest problem, and the Tensor's Transformation one has the effect of like putting the stacking caster debuff that makes your spells cost way more than they would normally do, and has the debuff that also slows down your range attack speed. So we want to get rid of him really quick. And then the next one has the quelling aura, the intercession aura, that inhibits divine spellcasting. So he's like the next danger. And then the red one doesn't really do much of anything. I think he might just do like Sunder or something. And maybe they even all do that, I don't know. In any event,
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, the order is just based on like what their threat level. And then, like I said, you know, it gets pretty chaotic at that point. You know, once the 3 Death Knights are dead, Lady Vol does her AoE death effect, and there's no save for it. You know, Death Ward could, you know, hypothetically work, but because the beholders are constantly dispelling that, you really want to have Death Block. There's absolutely no save. If you don't have Death Block on, you're typically going to die there. And she will keep doing that every 30 seconds that the Abbot stays alive at that point, during the final beatdown after the 3 Death Knights are dead. She does it as soon as the 3 Death Knights are dead, and then every 30 seconds thereafter. So if you have a really low DPS group, or if you've suffered from a lot of attrition, that part can cause even more attrition, because people are just going to keep dying from that. Even if they have Death Ward on, you know, sort of lower hit point tunes or more squishy tunes can die from the damage that you're taking from that whatever spell she's casting. Now, we do have strength and intelligence requirements for this. We're just going to be doing it on hard. And according to the wiki, the intelligence check on hard is 41, and the strength check is 60. So does anybody here have an intelligence of 41? Okay, great. Oh, of course, Jintis does. Anybody here have a strength of 60? Thaddeus or Noah?
Yeah, I'm a con build. I have a con of 60.
Anybody have a strength of 60?
Does your dog have it?
I'm gonna see if I can get my dog to it. I don't know if I can. I get on Ginger Spice, I can get my dog to 75 for elite, but I don't know if I can get the dog here.
What about the lion or the owlbear?
I think Taser's got a strength over 60. I can switch.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, I can get my wolf there. He's at 53 now. Yeah, I can get my wolf to 61.
Cool.
I do have a video, by the way, that shows how you can get your Druid's Wolf up to a 75 strength so that you can get the strength lever in Epic Elite, or Legendary Elite Tempest Spine. So it's a real quick video if you're interested in that sometime. Go ahead and step in. We're just, like I said, we're doing Legendary Hard. Don't range anything. There's going to be some fire elementals running around the caldera here in front of us. on Legendary Elite, some of these mobs can, you know, they're gonna one-shot squish your tunes, and you know, Legendary Elite can be pretty intense. So that's why I'm choosing to do Legendary Hard. And
Why can you not do anything?
why what?
Oh, there it is. Nothing.
Okay.
It took too long for the quest thing to pop up. I finally got to it.
Oh yeah, sometimes there's a little bit of lag on the UI. Okay guys, this I want to know who has never done Tempest Spine before and who's like maybe only done it once or twice. Also in the live stream.
Like high or low, or just on the high side?
Like if you've ever done it ever.
I've been in heroic, but I've been in heroic once and promptly got lost.
Yep. So that's the big noob danger in Tempest Spine, is getting lost. It's a very, very confusing sort of pathing, and it's easy to just run in circles and stuff. I mean, I found it confusing when I was there. I got lost in here. Spent a lot of time being lost in here as a noob. So I feel you if you get lost. But I'm going to try to explain, you know, where the different intersections go and stuff. So also there's a sort of a big area around the volcano here, or the mountain. I guess it's a volcano. And you know, if you ever fall, if you fall off during the end fight, it can be really confusing to sort of find your way back into the mountain. And so I guess at this point, all I want to show you is if you could just look at your map and see where you're at. So like if you happen to get tossed off the mountain later on, that you can see the entrance is in like the middle on the west side.
Mine's just black. I can't see anything.
Okay, yeah, so maybe I'll try to point that out later. But it's really easy, like if you get tossed off the mountain, to just start running around trying to find your way, and then you aggro a bunch of mobs and you pull a red dungeon alert, and then everybody yells at you. So maybe we could spend a few minutes just sort of running around the caldera, just to kind of show you around. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get our buffs. And then what we'll do is we'll run to the second entrance, so you can see that too. If you have fire shield, that's great. If not, don't worry. So go ahead and follow me. I'll put my aura on, so it'll be easy to follow. But usually what groups do is they'll just run past this part, even if they're doing heroic or epic. And there's sort of a high road and a low road. This is like the lower road that people will take. There's like a higher path and the important difference between the two that would be that the high road, you don't run through the lava like this, like we're about to do. So if running through lava is scary for you, then you'd want to take the higher road. Which, what we'll do is we'll detour and take the high road next time.
Tempest Spine.
If we come across any fire elementals,
a molten
we can
ring surrounds the base
take
of
them
the
out.
spire.
But if they don't
The entrance
aggro on
is
us,
scarred at
just
cliff
ignore them.
face.
Okay, this is the first entrance. This is the main entrance here. We're not going to go in there though, because like I said, what I want to do is just run you around the caldera, the area outside the volcano, just so you can kind of see what it's like. Because it's really easy for like new folks to panic if they get tossed off, and I don't want you to panic. Although it can be, if you get tossed off on Elite, it could be, like, these mobs are terrifying. You're probably gonna die, unless you, like, invis run around. And that's another point, like, you can go invis. If you get stuck down here by yourself, go invis.
How can I get up from down here?
We're gonna jump down. We're just sort of wandering around the outside right now. Like I said, just to get you newer folks acquainted with this area. Mephits, fire elementals, fire giants, lots of fire damage. These mobs are very intense on legendary elite. Not so bad on hard. There's at least one shrine out here too.
It's in the south. There's 4 of them actually.
Oh, is there? Okay. I have actually not spent a whole lot of time out here in the caldera. I don't know my way around here really well. And there is an optional, you know, is purge the mountaintop of foes. You know, you can kill all the a bunch of trash out here, and get optional. I don't even know how much XP it is. No, I don't think anybody ever does that. I've never been in a group that did that. It says 8,800. Let's not insta kill all the mobs though. I want folks to fight them. So this is
Peering
like
over the edge,
the second
you
entrance, the
realize
top
that a
entrance.
fall from this height would be devastating, if not deadly.
Some groups will just come in here.
Go in?
Yeah, go ahead and go in. You can use gust of wind to blow out dancing balls. Boom. Or cyclonic blast, for example. In addition to like break enchantment stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my wolf to use this strength lever. So some groups will actually bypass like the first sort of couple zones and just come straight here. So I just want you to realize that, you know, you might join a pug and they use this entrance and they'll just run around just sort of like what we just did. I'm just opening this for later. We're not actually going to go down here. We're going to go straight back out. Let's go along to the left. Again, just trying to acquaint you with this outside area. So you see it's like a big area. You can imagine it's probably pretty easy to get lost in. Let's just go ahead and jump down.
An ancient bridge, likely constructed in the Giants' golden age.
You can open up your
crosses
map
over the
now.
moat of
You have a little bit
molten
more of
lava.
your map completed. So you can kind of see where that second entrance was, where we started, and where the first entrance was. I can guarantee you if you start doing this raid, you're going to find yourself blown off the mountain and running around down here at some point or another. We got some stragglers here. Just wait up for everybody. We've almost made a full loop around the map. We're almost back at the start. And this raid, by the way, really just plays more like a long quest. And it is totally soloable. The heroic is soloable. Especially if you're over level, you know, if you're trying to farm some gear out of there. And even the legendary, like, I soloed this on legendary normal on Ginger. I've never tried anything harder than that. I'm sure Ginger could not solo anything beyond that. But Legendary Normal is certainly possible to solo or do short-handed, you know, if you're like on your level 30 or something, on, you know, on certain tunes and builds. Others, you know, definitely struggle with it, but, you know, you could definitely come in here short-handed if you're in like a small guild, group of 30s. You'd be okay on normal. There's fire giants down here we can kill. I do really want to emphasize again that your groups aren't going to do, they're not going to kill this stuff for the optional. Again, I'm just showing you around down here so that when you do get tossed off down here, that you don't panic. And so that you could see, like, if you start running around and you're not killing stuff and you're aggroing everything, you could spike a red dungeon alert really quick. Let's go ahead and jump down. And right here is the start. What did you say?
The wiki showed a couple shrines where we kind of looped there, and they're not there. I can't find them.
There's one in the south that's shown up on my map. I think it was up on a hill. So open up your map, and I just want to show you we did a big lap around the mountain. So the entrance where we first come in right here is in the the Midwest. The main entrance is in the south at the mountain, and then that secondary entrance that we went to was up around the east side. Okay, we're gonna run again, kind of like before, except this time we're gonna take the high road, which some people will take. So I'm gonna put my aura on again, and just follow me. The high road is used if you want to avoid the lava, which I suppose if you're doing this like at level on elite, might be kind of scary. Should be alright if you have resist though. There's a little double back here that if you don't know it is easy to miss because people will just keep going, don't keep going there. Just waiting for folks to catch up. Come up this ramp. And then we're going to jump along some blocks. And now the two paths converge. We've been through here before. But this way we only have to jump over one section of lava. And we're going to go ahead and go in.
Right. Do we go across the bridge?
Do we what?
If we went right instead of going into the lava, would that take us across the bridge?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Would it? Okay, I wasn't sure what part he was talking about.
This bridge right here in front of the zone, the entrance, if you follow it, it goes back down to the edge of that lava.
Go ahead and step into the main entrance. And just be aware, like, if you ever join like a legendary elite group, or I guess a Reaper group too, you know, I mean, you could definitely sustain some deaths just trying to run here, even if the group just all runs together. Like, those fire elementals can hit really hard. So I said, like, fire shield can be really helpful. Okay, we're just going to fight our way through some trash mobs, and
here in the belly of the mountain,
when we come to objectives, I'll explain what needs to be done.
Huddle together ahead. Proof that they have returned
Dancing
to
balls,
work with
earthquakes, all kinds of crowd control can be really helpful, especially on higher difficulties. Blinding mobs is really helpful too.
Deep imprints betray the presence of patrolling giants. Apparently, Sarjak has drawn others to his banner.
traps here. I don't know where the trap box is. There we go. Right here. I don't play trappers, so I don't know where all trap boxes are. You can actually lure the mobs through the traps too, and they'll take damage. Some people like to do that. If you're ever doing this on like heroic elite at level for like bravery bonus, the hill giant soothsayers casters are probably the scariest thing, because they can do disintegrates that if you fail are very painful. When you use gust of wind to blow out, you know, enemy stuff, be careful, because you can blow out your friendly ones too. Like that was our dancing ball, and I blew it right out.
To the left of the junction, you spy a massive metal gateway. To the right, the tunnel turns sharply.
Okay, we're gonna go to the left here, guys. And this is the intelligence rune, which is 50 on legendary elite.
4 locked pylons.
And this gate will come down and can lock people out. So you don't want to like run in here by yourself if you can't handle this iron golem. And then we're gonna have a fire and cold reaver here. And then we're gonna go through the portal, and this is the zone called fire and ice.
Unknown area of the mountain. Lair of fire and ice.
And just hang out at the next intersection here, and then I'll explain how this part works.
An oddly shaped rune. The air swirls.
Did this on like R5
currents of
on
hot
Voodoo,
and cold.
on Reaper 5 Skull, and it was a giant pain in the ass. But this part, if it's not organized, can be incompletable. It's important that, you know, groups are organized and survivable here. So it's really easy to get lost too. There's a fire section, which is down to the south over here, and then like an ice section, which is over here to the west. And both will lead to, like, you know, basically like it's a little mazy, so people can actually get lost in there. You don't know your way around. But we're gonna go down or up to rooms that have, like, there's a fire reaver and an ice render, and both of those need to be killed at generally the same time. You might have like a 1 minute, up to like a 1 minute window actually. So it's not a tight kill window. But you don't have time to like go up and kill the ice one and then run back down and kill the fire one. But what you can do is, some people will actually like to go grab the ice one and then bring it down here. And then like kill it here and then run down and kill the fire one real quick, for example. Or some groups might try to bring them together, or bring the ice down to fire, or whatever. There's going to be different ways to do it. The point is that they have to be killed, you know, within about a 1 minute window. And so usually, but what typically will happen is, or a lot of times will happen is, you'll just split up the group. You'll send 6 one way and 6 the other. And if you're in a pug, it might be very disorganized. People might just start going wherever, and then you're going to have noobs getting lost, and then it can turn into a giant mess, and then the leader decides to try to get coordinated. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the ice render right here. We're going to all go up to ice together, and we're going to pull it right here. But we're not going to go into the room with the ice render right away. We're going to sort of go around the outside in sort of the mazy area, just because I want you to see what that area is like. So when you join a pug, you don't get lost. So let's go ahead and go up. Just follow me. There is a shrine up here too, which we'll use before we leave this zone.
Bitterly cold air rolls across the floor. And
okay, if we were to go straight at this next 4-way intersection, we would go right into where the ice render is, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to go into these halls that go around that zone. Like I said, I just want to show it to you so that when you join a pug, you don't get lost. We're just making a big circle around that ice render room. And there are endlessly spawning hill giant mobs here. So that ice render room is right there. We're just going to keep going around the outside perimeter. And we're just going to keep going until we circle back around to the shrine. It's Mickey Dies. The legendary Death Master. Okay, so here we are. Just showing you we're right here back at the shrine where we first came up. And now we're gonna go in and we're not gonna kill the... Oh, there's the ice flenser now. Don't kill him. Somebody aggro... He was in the room up there, but we're gonna drag him back down. Where the first split was. So if you were soloing this is what you'd want to do. You'd want to go get ice and bring him down here and then kill him here and then run down there and kill fire. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kill ice and then we're going to run down to fire and kill ice as fast as possible. Or kill fire as fast as possible. Let's go ahead and kill the ice.
Linked by
and then follow me down to fire.
Ice will reform as fire still burns. Heat spreads
maybe
along
a
the
45
floors and
second
up
to
the
a minute
walls.
kill window.
The sound of rushing lava resounds all about you in this cavern. A strange thought passes through your mind.
And he's dead.
Linked by Sarjak. Fire shall
Let's
burn
kill these
as
fire
long
methods.
as ice
Right,
has
we
fire.
typically just go back up right now, but I want to do the same thing here as we did in ice. I want to just run you around this zone so that you can see it's kind of the same thing. There's just a big loop. So let's go ahead and go out the west side here. I'll put my aura on so you can see me. I think people are less likely to get lost in fire because, I don't know, I guess just the room that you have to go to is a little more obvious than in ice. But nonetheless, I'm just showing you we're going to make a big loop around that center room. Look to the left, there's that room where the fire reaver was. We will be shrining shortly. No groups.
If you don't kill them at the same time, do they respawn?
Yes, they will respawn, and you have to do it again until you can kill them both in the time window. Now, I would not advise trying to drag fire up because fire's pathing is screwed up, and if you try to like go in there and grab him and pull him across these bridges, he doesn't want to. I've found that he doesn't want to come across these bridges. He wants to like run off the other way. So, if you're gonna pull ice, not fire. Okay, we're gonna go back up to the shrine. Okay, and I want us to go back up to ice. Put my aura on, because I didn't show you guys the room where the render was, because he had aggroed on us in the outer halls. So I just want you to see that. You'd come up here to the shrine, you'd make a right, and then you go straight into this center chamber, and this is where the ice flenser or whatever it is would be, right here, and a bunch of ice methods. Okay, we're gonna go right back down. I'll put my aura on. And let's go ahead and shrine up. And
Looks like these.
Oh, go ahead.
Looks like these giants all respawn all the time. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. The trash and the mephits will respawn in fire and ice. They respawn pretty quickly. Anybody need any buffs, by the way? Death Ward. Actually, Mickey will do a mass Death Ward.
Or will I?
We'll see. Okay, we're going to go back down to the chests. And this is where you gather the first of 3 runes. And the runes are used in the end fight. Basically, what the function that they do is they remove some buffs that the boss has, and it makes it easier to kill him.
Entering the treasure room, you spy.
I don't remember what
chests
rune corresponds to
in
what, but one of them
ancient
is like pulls away a regenerative ability, and I can't remember. If you want to see what they all specifically do, we just here the rune was right here. I just picked it up. If you want to see what they specifically do, just check the wiki. And like I said, some groups will skip the first 2 rune sections and just go to that top entrance and just get the 1 rune and do that. So just be aware that you might be skipping like this whole part. Named loot can drop from these chests if you're doing heroic, and the heroic is the same as legendary. The raid itself is the same. The loot's different, but once you've looted and we've picked up the rune, and the rune will respawn, by the way, so if, you know, somebody picked it up and dropped it somewhere, or they didn't know they picked it up, you know, worst case scenario, you could always come back and get another rune. Okay, we're gonna go back out, and right to the right, out the way we came in.
lair of fire and ice.
Do you know how long it takes to respawn?
Like all the giants and the
No, the ruins.
Oh, I don't know how long it takes to respawn. I don't think it's very long. I think yeah, I think it respawns within a couple of minutes, but I'm not sure.
A deep hole offers no sign of egress.
Drop down this
although
hole.
A soft, cool breeze can be felt coming from below.
Breakables. And then we're gonna go out the mountain. When you go out, don't go straight ahead because you'll fall right off the mountain. We're gonna make a hard left as soon as we come out. Now, if you were trolling your friends, what you'd want to do is you'd want to be the first one out here, and then throw a grease right at this entrance. So as soon as they come out, they slide down the mountain. It's really funny. They might not be your friends for very long after that, but I'm just letting you know that's something you can do. Or Sleet Storm works too.
Peering over the
And
edge,
so we just go up,
you realize
and then
that a
right back
fall
in the
from
mountain.
This height would be devastating, if not deadly.
We'll just wait for everybody to actually just looks like it's just Mickey D's. He knows his way, so we can keep moving.
What's in here?
A cool breeze blows in from the cavern
Get
mouth
easily
to the
distracted
east,
and easily
offering
lost.
relief
in
from
here.
the
Did you find a squirrel?
volcanic heat.
I did not, but I did see a copper piece on the ground back there.
Okay, so normally we go to the right here, guys, but I want to show you, you know, because this map is confusing, I want to show you where the different paths go to. And plus there's some breakables down here, but these breakables actually aren't necessary to get ransack. A couple trash mobs.
Harsh drow voices echo off the tunnel walls. A small force lies in wait in the dark caverns ahead.
what I want to show you is this is an intersection that we already were at. And one of the things that makes this raid confusing is that the map, when you're inside the mountain, doesn't work. The map is only functioning outside of the, in the caldera. But earlier, when we first came into the mountain, we came right here, and we went to the left. And then we fought the iron golem, and right up here is fire and ice. So all I'm doing right now is trying to get you your bearings. You ever come in here and you start getting lost? I just wanted you to see, like, here's fire and ice where we just came from. We're going to go back now. And right back up. So normally you wouldn't need to come through this section and bother with these trash mobs that were here. How's that lava, Treadway?
Oh, you saw me in there?
Treadway is the star of our Spotting Left video. For
Magma
those of you
river
who saw
flows
that.
into an unseen lava tube at the top of
And
the
yes, that
rise
was an
bed.
April Fool's Day video. If you
Methods
didn't
and
watch it to the end
elementals
when we
guard
did
this location.
when we said as much. If you couldn't figure it out as you were watching it. Hopefully by the time we started talking about like Canadian left and Australian left, you figured out we were just joking around. Here there's some flame jets, be careful.
Picking up traps.
Actually, yeah, those can be disabled, can't they? Nice. Forget about that, I always just run through them. Notice that these fire elementals coming up from behind. Now, somebody help me out here. I think the fire elementals only spawn if you disable the trap, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So, important point is that we got a big fight coming up, right? And so an unsuspecting group, maybe somebody disables the trap, and then you start the next fight, and then you got the fire elementals coming up from behind, and on higher difficulties, that could be a problem. So like I said, this fight coming up right here on Legendary Elite and Harder is one of the toughest fights. Perhaps the toughest aside from the end fight. The thing is, there are red names, up to 4 of them, that can be up in this next zone, and if you get like all 4, and you're on a higher difficulty, man, it's tough. I mean, it is one shot. All kinds of people.
Fixated on ending your life.
If you don't have over 1,000 hit points, they're probably going to one-shot you. Even if you had like 1,300 hit points and low PRR, they're probably going to one-shot you on Legendary Elite. For every red name, like I said, there can be up to 4. For every red name that's here, you get a chest. So you get up to 4 chests right in this part alone. Lots of chests in this quest. Some of these can drop named loot, even in this part.
Curses and spits blood at your feet. Drow warriors often seem much alike, but the one ahead exudes a stifling.
Here's another red name.
Assassin.
This guy is pretty ridiculous on Legendary Elite. And he can hurt on Legendary Hard, as Angry Tiger is finding out.
That's embarrassing.
Not at all, buddy. That's why we do these,
You know what you do? You just blame the cleric. Works out in your favor.
Yeah, blame the cleric, blame the leader.
That's what I always do.
Why you no heal me? I'll probably come up with some BS excuse.
Bloody and battered, loses
Okay,
his
we got
will.
two chests right up
and
here,
slides
guys.
to the
One's over
ground,
here.
motionless.
Easy to miss if you didn't know it was here. Cloak of
The one
invisibility.
between there's one between the shrines.
So sometimes heroic loot will drop in the legendary instance. Cloak of it's actually not a it's an invis clicky and it's got ghostly on it, a green slot. You know, I mean you could wear it I guess at level 9. Anybody want that? D20? It's not supposed to drop in the legendary
Beyond
raid,
the
but
magical
sometimes it
barrier
does.
lies a massive dormant gateway. A drow wizard begins a guttural incantation as murderous intent spreads across
Looks like
her
just
face.
Thaddeus.
Finish her first.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, we got another red name coming up here coming up the steps. So here, you know, if you're a little more organized about it, it can be really handy to just sort of fight the first group of mobs at the door when we first came in, and then just slowly aggro this stuff, as opposed to if you just run in this room and it aggro everything all at once, and you got all the red names, it can be really painful. Also on higher difficulties, these like cloud kills or acid fogs or whatever it is that these guys are doing can really hurt. So it could be really handy to be able to dispel them or, you know, blow them out with like gust of wind or something, cyclonic blast.
I'm getting some lag right now.
Yep. Because of the quantity of mobs in here, this part is prone to lag big time. Yeah, I'm lagging really bad too.
The drow wizard grows still and collapses to the
You
ground.
get your chest between the shrines. Lots of shrines in this quest, so if you wanted to use these, that's fine, but it doesn't look like anybody needs to. But if you want to, go for it. And we're going to go down the steps. We're going to be coming back up here later and going through that door next to the shrines, but right now we're going down the steps. And there was an intelligence rune here that pulled down the barrier that was here. Some breakables and another chest because there was a red name down here. So we got 3 out of 4 red names, pretty good. And then go through the portal after you've looted. This part is known as the flooded tunnel.
Flooded tunnel.
First we're going to go up these natural steps and get an extra chest.
In a recess against the wall, a murky pool of water descends into darkness. A golem patrols dutifully near a rest area in a side passage.
There's a golem up here and then a chest behind us. Stalagmite. Tight.
Mai Tai.
Yeah, does it have a special name? I think it's called a pillar, if they're connected in the center. I don't know. Anyways, there's a chest up here. I'll throw merfolks, because now we're gonna have a swim, and this is the part where newbies get lost and drown.
Hey, Ginger, when
Yep.
I clicked on the chest, it says action failed. You're helpless.
Ah, okay, so you probably have stat damage, so you let somebody know that you're helpless, and then they throw you a heal or a restoration, which I'm going to do right now.
I've got a restoration.
Right, but you can't cast it on yourself because you're helpless. You should be good to go now,
yeah,
buddy.
I get. It is. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this flooded tunnel, people get like way lost in here, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's actually a very simple little zone. It's basically just a T-shaped tunnel. And we're just going to stay to the right to get an extra chest, and even when we come out of the extra chest, we're going to stay to the right. I'm actually going to put my aura on, which will stay on underwater so you can see where I'm going. Go ahead and jump into the water. It only lasts 30 seconds though. So like I said, it's just basically a T-shaped passage. We're going to come to the first intersection,
You do not think you can hold your breath.
which is where I am now, and we're going to make a right.
Leads to the left or right. Water extends
Then we're
to
going
the
to go up
ceiling
through a
of the
hole in
tunnel,
the ceiling,
showing no signs of where you
and
may
it's the
draw
only way to
breath.
go. And then up through another hole in
Light
the ceiling,
filters through a hole in the roof of the tunnel.
and this will take us to an extra chest. Another golem who's guarding a chest. If you get lost, please call it out. It's like we're missing Noah.
No, I'm good. I had to reload.
Oh, okay. Where are you at?
In the tunnel with Twilight.
Okay. Treadway, can you take him to that chest? Thanks. And then now,
Yeah, will do.
right here at this intersection, the left is where we came from originally. And behind us is obviously the chest we just came from. And then, so now we're just going to stick to the right and go straight ahead. And there's only one way to go here. We're going to go through a hole. Otherwise, you'd go back the way we came. We're going to go through a hole in the ceiling.
Stone
And
pillars
then there's
poke through the surface of the
there's
water
just
ahead.
an air
This
pocket
may
here
be
if
a
you need
good
to catch
spot
your breath.
regain your strength and breath.
And then we're going to continue to the north. And up another hole. And then we're out. Like I said, the underwater part is basically just a T-shaped section. There are only 3 ways to go. The way you came from, the extra chest, and right here. Oh yeah, no problem, Noah.
I'm gonna relaunch real quick as well. My screen's trying to green from that funny fog effect.
Okay. Right this way, folks.
A scent of sour, rotting flesh.
This is
permeates
another
the
fight that
air
on
here.
higher difficulties can
Another
get
beast summoned
rather
by
out of hand. There's
Sawjack
going to be a lot of
lies in
mobs
wait
that spawn
nearby.
out of these gates on the left and right. So sometimes people will stay up here in range. There's going to be a beholder that comes out of the right gate too. So if you have a hurler, for example, that can be really helpful just to get rid of him really quick. Or if you can paralyze him. If you can set up some crowd control down here on the left, that's nice too. You can see the beholder over there. I know somebody here is a hurler.
As light ebbs from the beholder, the magical barrier collapses, allowing access to the rune it guarded.
Okay, there's going to be a chest behind a golem in the south. Notice that even though there's no map for inside the mountain, that your facing arrows still work, so you can still use directions. And then there's another one of the runes here. Remember I said there were 3 runes that you can collect that will pull off buffs from the boss. Loot your chest. and go ahead and shrine up if you want to. If there are any questions from the live streamers, let me know. Put my aura on and go right back out to the left through the portal. So now it takes us to, this is the portal that we went into to go into the flooded tunnel zone. This is where we had the 3 red names. This is the shrine at the top of the steps, and now, you know, like I said, we were going to go through this door. And now we're going to go through this door. Allie, were you able to catch up with us?
Yep.
Okay, great. Here we got some poison traps. I'm not sure exactly where the trap boxes are. But I think they're up here between the poison jets. Druids are immune to natural poison. Love it.
A cold wind howls through the cavern opening. The thin, icy air makes breathing difficult.
I never pull this lever. Does it open that gate there?
Yep.
Strength is too low. Okay, let's just go out here and see where it takes us.
Peering over the edge, you realize that a fall from this height would be devastating.
I don't know if this
not
is
deadly.
an entrance that you can get to. But anyways, just goes outside the mountain here. We can go right back in. Don't fall. But you wouldn't be able to come in that entrance at the beginning anyways, because you have to pull the lever on the inside to open the door. If you're ever soloing this, make sure you have a way to open locks, in addition to the requisite strength and intelligence. Of course, you can just use a bellow opening for the locks, if you weren't on a knocker or a lockpicker.
Hill giants ensure that the drow encamped ahead are only resting from their labors. A pitiful state for a once free people.
Okay, let's go to the right first. We are going to go to the left.
A blast of cold air funnels through the opening in the cavern. The crisp air is laden with water crystals.
And I want to show you that, you know, earlier when we went to, like, what I said was like the upper entrance, that's right here. We came up here. We kept going around at this point, but we were up here really early on. Go right back into the mountain once you've had a look around. Just want to show you we've been here already. This was a strength lever. There was a gate here. And we're going to go right back down. So that's the entrance that some groups, you know, sometimes you join pugs, they're going to skip the first 2 runes. And they're just going to go into that entrance.
Drow scorpions and rust
And this is
monsters
another
guard
strength
this
lever
room.
here.
A sealed door across from the entrance looks recently used, as the dust at its base has been disturbed.
And we're just gonna have like some some Scarrow and some rust monsters here. Fire giant. Okay, we just got some breakables here to the west. And then to the east there is a shrine. And what's great about the shrine room is that you can lock your friends in and they can't get out unless they were to like D-door or something. Or somebody's being a jerk to you or something, like that's what you get. See, like we're just gonna lock Mickey in there so he's safe from himself. There's no way for him
I locked you in there first.
There's no way for him to die 2,600 times in there. Okay, now we're going to keep going south. That's a great shrine to save to use right before the end fight if you wanted to. There's another strength lever here on the right. We're not going to go that way yet. That's to the end fight. And there's a beholder there too. I'm just going to use my wolf to get the lever and then I'm going to dismiss my wolf. Okay, we're going to keep going to the third rune section, which is called the Bridge to the Inevitable. Go through the portal.
Bridge to the Inevitable.
On Legendary Elite, there are some Blackbone Archers here. Well, there's going to be Blackbone Archers anyways, but they can be really, really painful. I mean, they can take you out in 1 or 2 shots. Trap box. Disable these traps down here. And then you can pull the levers safely to lower the bridge.
The bridge lurches to life, lowering and offering passage. A gravelly voice calls out.
You don't want to run way ahead here because there is a lockout until a fight is complete. So just these Blackbone Archers here can be really painful. Just go to right about where I am. If you go any further, you're going to a gate's going to come down, and this fight can be pretty intense on higher difficulties. There's going to be a whole bunch of mobs that spawn out of these 4 doors here.
Sealed doors along the tunnel appear immovable.
Anybody need a freedom of movement?
Overcomes you as you continue forward.
This part's pretty intense to solo. And then now that all the mobs have been killed, the gate goes up in case anybody's locked out, and we're just going to keep going.
A wicked sensation washes over you as you enter the junction.
There's nothing in those little side rooms.
To the left, the path turns sharply out
We're going to use this shrine on the way back, but now we're going to drop down.
Slightly.
back through here. The inevitable here will activate in a moment. I'm not sure if he activates after a couple giants are dead or if it's just timed, but he could hit pretty hard on Legendary Elite. But go ahead and get in front of him. If you've never experienced this guy before, go ahead and take a hit or two from him. See what that feels like. Angry felt it. He almost got you. What
Holy
hit?
smokes. That did like 600 damage.
So, the important point is that if you're not tanking him, probably attack him from behind.
Do you know what his damage reduction is?
He's a construct. Somebody help me out. What's his damage reduction? He's a Marut. I'll look it up.
Thank you.
Chaotic.
DR chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah, it says DR 164/chaotic. Okay, we got a we got a chest.
For epic card.
Yeah, the symbols show. I believe it says. Yeah, for epic card. It's DR 164/chaotic. Inventory slots are full. It's a tune I don't play very often. And then the third and final rune is, oops, there's a red shrine there. The third and final rune is right over here. Talon rune. And just want to show you that we're going to go right back the way we came, but you can go down this hallway here and there's nothing. Almost looks like you could get through there because you can see a hole in the ceiling, but it's nothing. We're going to go right back out the way we came. And now we're going to go to the end fight. There's going to be a shrine that we'll use. Turned off. I switched out of fire elemental form so that it would extinguish my aura so that it wouldn't heal Iron Golem. Iron Golems are healed by fire. Go ahead and shrine up. We're just going to fight one beholder and then the end fight. down. And this is the zone where we had that ambush.
I think this is where that little pass goes to.
Oh, right over there on the side, yeah. Where it's blocked off, you mean?
Yep.
Those archers, like I said, they can be really, really painful on Legendary Elite. So when you're running back across the bridge, just don't stop there to do anything, because they'll get you. There's a beholder down this pit. It's an orange name. It's not a named though. I mean, it's an orange. Yeah, it's just beholder. But in any event, it can be, you know, hurled through hell. Or you go down there and fight him if you want to. If you're melee. Okay, guys, who's never been into the end fight here before? Don't go through the portal yet.
Me.
Anybody else never been to the end fight?
Only on heroic.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, so we got two people who have, at least two people who have never been in the end fight. It's so awesome. It's this, you know, as you can see, like, for those of you who have done the heroic a few times, the rate is identical. Just mobs hit harder. So we're gonna be at the top of the mountain, and there's a puzzle, and it's a floor puzzle, and we just need to like light the 3 runes around the outside, and when we light the runes, it will make these urns appear, and the urns is where we put the runes in, the runes that we picked up during the raid, like those things. And by putting the runes into the vases or the urns, that's what removes the buffs from Swordjack, and the more that you do, the easier he is to deal with. And the most important one is the one we just picked up, which is the one that gives him the regen ability. That's why some groups will just go to that top entrance, get that rune, and then fight Swordjack and not deal with the rest of the raid. Yeah, Featherfall is important. So Swordjack has an ability where he can just like toss you off the mountain, and he's gonna fling you out into the caldera. And that's why I wanted to take you around at the beginning of the raid when we did the big loop around the outside of the mountain, because you're gonna get tossed down there. And it's important to know, you know, to not panic when you're down there, and you know, to know your way around a little bit so you can get back up. But here's the thing. Here's the trick that everybody does. If you have had Featherfall on, you know, and it's a really, really tall mountain too, so it takes a long time to fall down to get Featherfall on. But if you get tossed off, if you type /stuck, it will bring you back to the top of the mountain. You can only use /stuck like once an hour, but that's the little trick that everybody does when you get flung off. /stuck, you know, that's the command. In case you know, because I know some of you are a little bit newer. In case you don't know, if you ever get stuck somewhere, like, you know, behind a rock or something like that, or pinched between two things, you could just type /stuck, and it'll sort of like pop you out into a, you know, a nearby zone where you were moving. But you can only use that command once an hour, so that way it doesn't get exploited. So the important point is, if you get flung off the mountain, type /stuck right away, and it takes probably 20 seconds for that command to sort of kick in. So that's not a command you can use on the fly, like in the middle of combat, but you know, as long as nothing hitting it, because you can be interrupted, and you want to do it before you get to the bottom and aggro a bunch of mobs. But if you can get /stuck off, then it can just bring you right back up here. So we're going to go in and do the floor tile puzzle, pop the runes into the urns, and we're going to beat down Swordjack. Swordjack on Legendary Elite is one of the hardest, perhaps the hardest raid boss, hardest hitting raid boss Although I haven't faced the new dragon on Elite. I definitely cannot survive him. On Legendary Elite, it takes like a real, sort of like a true tank to be able to stand up against him. He has for massive amounts of damage. There's a lot of electrical damage, so electrical absorption is great to have in here. And I'll also say this, you know, we don't usually talk about like safe spots and things in our teaching raids. We sort of teach legitimate methods. But I'm going to tell you that virtually every group that you join for this, you're going to see people jumping into like this little safe spot around the outside of a pillar where Swordjack can't get to you. So that's the way, like, I think a lot of groups are doing this on like 10 Skull, just by hiding in the safe spot and beating Swordjack down that way. Okay, let's go ahead and go in. And that sort of safe spot is just, you know, it's very, very commonly known. Not like some super secret. I think it can be helpful to have freedom of movement maybe during this first part before we finish the puzzle. Go ahead and get in front of Swordjack if you've never experienced him before and take a hit from him. He does hit pretty hard even on Legendary Hard.
Oh, hello.
If you die, blame Mickey.
It's really hard.
Hey, if you get one shot, you get more hit points.
Go do this part of the puzzle.
And or blame Mickey. I suppose that works.
And Swordjack is over there. If you were to just come up here without getting at least the one rune, Swordjack would be unkillable because he regenerates like back to... He's just unkillable. He regenerates too much. I don't remember if he goes back to full or what. Click on the empty holder to... Oh, somebody's... Why did my vase disappear? Anyways, you just click on the empty holders to put the runes in there, and it says the rune you hold fits neatly into the seed. Swordjack's power has been diminished. Alright, now I've popped in all the runes. If you stand along the east wall, it's usually pretty good for not getting knocked off, or like in this crevice, like this corner next to the steps, or actually right at the top of the steps too, because if he tosses you, he'll just toss you like into the, there's like a ceiling here. So this is another good place for like range tunes to hang out. If you're melee, well, best of luck to you. But like I said, if you've never taken a hit from Swordjack before, get in his face. I want you to experience that. If you get tossed off, don't panic and don't move around. If you get tossed off, just type /stock, it'll bring you right back up here. Unfortunately, you can only use that trick once. See right there, I got tossed up right into the ceiling.
One false step on this edge could lead to a disastrous plummet and death.
And we don't move after you landed. Just don't move.
Hey, what?
You should not move.
Yep, don't move if you're getting tossed off, and just type /stuck. Hit enter, hit confirm, and it'll teleport you back to the top. It takes about 20 seconds for the teleport bar to fill.
Echoes across the mountaintop and in the valley below as Swordjack Incani crumples to the ground.
Oh, and then you just go through the portal again, I guess, eh?
Yeah, so if you were hanging out at the top of the steps, as soon as you get completion, the portal reappears and it would take you back through, but you just come right back through. So that's Legendary
Awesome.
Tempest Spine, folks. Any questions about this raid?
This is the one of the few raids that doesn't lock out, yeah? You can switch tunes right now if you theoretically wanted to.
Yeah, good point. You can bring in people late at any point, even just to loot. An important note about the loot here. So there are lots of great endgame armors here, and some of these armors come in up to 4 different varieties. So for example, there might be like a leather armor that's like, leathers of the Celestial Sage or of the Celestial Avenger or whatever. So like the like Sage Avenger, and I forget all the different names of them, but they refer to like one of them, like the Sage one is like the caster version, and like I think it's the Avenger one is like the melee version. So the point is, make sure like if you're rolling on a set of armor here that it's really the one that you want. Don't just assume that because it's leather and you wear leather armor that that's the one you want. Like it might be the caster leather armor, for example, and there's only one stat that's different between like all the different versions of leather. Also, you're going to get these Tempest runes that come out of the chest, sort of like you do from Hound of Zoriat. You get the Zoriat runes, and then from the new raid, I forget what they're called, but it's runes that you get that you can buy the raid loot with when you save enough of them, and I believe it's 1250. But it's 1250 for this and Hound of Zoriat, and I believe for the new raid as well. You actually talk to the quest giver, and you can buy the raid loot. You can't get mythic versions that way, but this mechanism takes place of the old like 20th list. So there's no 20th list for this raid. You don't get anything special for 20 completions. You just save up your runes, and that way you can TR and you still have your runes with you, and that sort of functions as saving your completions in a manner of speaking. So let's go ahead and
Can you swap runes from here for Zoriat runes?
No, but your runes...
Or are the 2 runes exclusive?
They are exclusive, but these runes, all the runes are bound to a count. So you can move them, you can like throw them on all one tune that needs them.
If anybody got Scale Mail or Celestial Sage doesn't want it, I'd like to roll on it.
There's Scale Mail, the Celestial Avenger. So it has some really nice stats. Like I said, these are endgame armors. Among the best armors in the game. And, earlier I said, like, this is soloable on Legendary Normal. It can be really challenging. I'm not trying to say it's a blow-off, but it is doable. Or if you're in a small guild, you can bring in just you and a few friends and do it on normal. And at least that gives you a path to get these endgame armors. If you're somebody that doesn't want to join like pug raids or something like that, you can just get you and a few friends and do this on normal and do it every 3 days and save up your runes and get your armors. Any final questions before we break? That is all for this event tonight, guys. Don't forget to turn these raids in. Next week is the final teaching raid of the first half of the season, and then we're going to start from the top and do them all again. And next week we're doing the new raid, Riding the Storm Out. And there's no flagging required for it. And if there's, I suspect there's going to be a high demand for it, so we may be doing multiple runs. But I just want to let you know we're doing the new raid next week. So hope to see you there. If not, maybe we'll see you in a future event. And again, don't forget to turn it in and have a great night.
Thank you. Scale Mail, how would it hold up versus Shadow Plate?
It really just depends on the build. Like, I like to use the heavy Shadow Dragon armor on my druids because it has the 30-60 DR, but you just really want to just look at the stats and see what works for your build.
I'll get more PR out of heavy armor than I would out of the medium, right?
Yeah, you definitely would, as long as you're proficient in the heavy armor. If you're not proficient in the heavy armor, then you don't get the PR.
Ginger, thanks for the evening.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming out, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Thanks so much for running it. It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah,
Thanks,
man.
everybody.
Later.
Have a good one. Okay, live streamers, last chance for questions. I'm going to scroll up here a bit to see if there are any questions. I see people are talking about my Voodoo Warlock build, and I do appreciate the added defenses that are built into that for Reaper mode. So just to give you, I have posted some videos that show how it performs in Reaper. In terms of soloing, and Reapers aren't really intended to solo, but I have soloed like up to like Reaper 5, and I have like I think 19 Reaper points so far. Beyond that, beyond Reaper 5, the tank ability starts to break down. But even up to Reaper 5, I found that Voodoo is able to stand up to mobs and take quite a few hits and actually tank. But definitely by like Reaper 7, she gets obliterated, and so maybe some Reaper 6 she could tank. But different quests are different in terms of the difficulty. So maybe Reaper 3 or 4 in some other quests would be the maximum that Voodoo could stand up against. And if you don't know the build I'm talking about, it's the Voodoo Warlock build. It's posted in the Warlock forums. It has dropped to the second page, so look for it there. It's also linked in my forum signature. But I just want to be very, very realistic about how the build performs. It's a higher defensive, tankier build, lower on the DPS side. I mean, it still does great DPS because Warlocks do good DPS, but it doesn't have things like Ruin and Greater Ruin and stuff. It basically replaces those with more defensive feats to be more survivable and more tanky. Steelmaster, we are on Sarlona. We do these teaching raid events every week on Saturdays through the winter and spring. And so we're at the midpoint in the season right now. We've already worked through every raid in the game once, except for the new raid, which we're doing next week. And then we're going to do them all again. And then we'll be done. This is our 4th year doing them. They've been a lot of fun. And I always post details for what raid we're doing as a teaching raid event in the Sarlona forum. So just check the Sarlona forums. We also have other public events that we do on Sarlona. We do a Friday night Mark of Death Fest. It's a public event, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Anybody can join. If you're new to it, I'm happy to explain it. And then we also do a Tuesday night Heroic Abbot Fest, which is on hold right now, but we're bringing that back. Like I think on April 18th, it's going to come back, and then it's every Tuesday night. Heroic Abbot. Again, if you're new, we're happy to teach you how it works. A lot of fun, and it's a great way to get, Abbots is hard to find a good group for. So I'm going to tell you, if you're on Sarlona, our Tuesday night Abbots are the place to learn. And it's hard to find a good group for, and if you join our Tuesday night Abbot Fest, you get your quivers, get your litanies, get all the loot out of there that you want. We usually do 2 every Tuesday night. But we don't do Tempest Spine as a heroic teaching raid. In fact, this is the first time we've ever done Tempest Spine as a teaching raid. Just because there's not really much of a raid, it plays more like a quest. But I've had requests for it, and now that it's a legendary, I decided to toss it in here, and we had good turnout, so I'll probably do it again in the future. So if you're on Sarlona, like I said, if you want to get involved in the teaching raids or any of our public events, check out the Sarlona forum. And for the teaching raids, like I said, we do it every Saturday pretty much through the rest of spring. Next week is going to be riding the storm out. If you're not on Sarlona, some of these raids don't require flagging, so you can make like we've had people make tunes over here on Sarlona just to attend the teaching raids, or some of them have very simple flagging mechanics. So that's an option too, or you can watch the live stream. Any final questions from the live streamers? I'm going to go ahead and shut down the live stream feed, but I'm going to continue to watch the live chat for a few minutes. So if there are any other questions, let me know. Yeah, you can start collecting Vile Blasphemies out of Heroic Abbot. You can see this tune has 5 of them.